Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Huda binti Masaid. Our group will present about amplitude modulation, AM transmission and reception. Our group consists of 5 members, that is me, Nurul Huda binti Masaid, Siti Nuridayati binti Abdul Halim, Nadia Suhada binti Mustafa Amar, Elias Mustafa, Nurliana Hazwani binti Hazimin, and Fateh Nur Hazwani binti Muhammad Isa. So, modulation. What is modulation? It is a process of impressing a low-frequency information signals to a relatively high-frequency carrier signal. There are 3 types of modulation, that is, amplitude modulation AM, frequency modulation FM, and phase modulation PM. Next, modulation and its necessary. Why we need modulation? It is because normally, signals are not in the form that is suitable for transmission and need to be transformed based on bandwidth requirement, signals multiplexing, complexity of transmission system, and the preventing noise interference attenuation. Then, principles of AM. What is amplitude modulation? It is a process of changing the amplitude of a relatively high-frequency carrier signal with the instantaneous value of the modulating signal. For your information, there are 2 inputs that go through the modulator. First, a single high-frequency RF or radio frequency carrier signals of constant amplitude. And second, low-frequency information signals that may be a single frequency or a complex waveform made up of many frequencies. As we can see in this figure, the first signal is the modulating signal, and this is the carrier signal. Lastly, this is the modulated signal. As we can see, the amplitude of the carrier signal is changing according to the modulating signal, and the frequency and the phase carrier signal remain constant. Next, this is the example for amplitude modulation. First, when the sound signal coming to the microphone, it will be the modulating signal, while in the same time, there are the radio frequency carrier wave coming through the amplitude modulator, and it will produce the amplitude modulated carrier wave like this. Then, AM envelope, or we can call the modulated signal of amplitude modulation. The most commonly used AM modulation technique is the AM double sideband full carrier DSB-FC. The signal's representation: first, the carrier signal equal to VC sin 2 pi FC T. Modulating signal equal to VM sin 2 pi FM T. And modulated wave equal to VAM T. That's all for me. The rest will be explained by my friends. Thank you.
Next is AM frequency spectrum and bandwidth. Output envelope is a complex wave made up of a DC voltage, the carrier frequency, sum and difference of the frequencies. Second, sum and difference frequencies are displaced from carrier frequency by an amount equal to modulating frequency. Next, sub-frequencies or sidebands are generated as part of the modulation process and occur on either side of the frequency spectrum. This is the frequency spectrum of an AM double sideband full carrier wave. For single frequency sine wave modulation, it generates 2 sidebands. Complex wave such as voice or video modulation generates a range of sidebands. The upper sideband and the lower sideband are calculated as below. Frequency for upper sideband is equal to FC plus FM, and for lower sideband equal to FC minus FM. Frequency domain representation of AM. A plot of signal amplitude versus frequency is referred to as frequency domain display. A spectrum analyzer is used to display the frequency domain as a signal. Bandwidth is the distance between the upper and lower sideband frequencies. This is the formula for bandwidth. Next is coefficient of modulation and percent modulation. What is coefficient of modulation? Coefficient of modulation is the amount of amplitude change present in an AM waveform, and percent modulation is a coefficient of modulation stated as a percentage. So here is the formula for modulation coefficient. M equal to EM over EC. If the modulating signal is a pure single frequency sine wave and the process is symmetrical, then the modulation index can be derived as follows. Therefore, the percentage of modulation is equal to Vmax minus Vmin over Vmax plus Vmin times by 100. This is the formula for peak amplitude of upper side frequency and lower side frequency.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nadia Swada binti Mustafa Amar and I'm from 2 BKG Section 1, 2.4 AM Voltage Distribution and Analysis. The amplitude of the AM wave varies in proportional to the amplitude of the modulating signal, and the maximum amplitude of the AM wave is EC plus EM. This is unmodulated carrier signal, which is VCT is equal to EC sin 2 pi FCT. And based on the characteristic of the AM wave is the repetition rate of an AM envelope is equal to the frequency of the modulating signal. The amplitude of the AM wave varies proportional to the amplitude of the modulating signal. The maximum amplitude of the modulated wave is equal to EC plus EM. Therefore, the output modulated wave can be expressed as VAMT is equal to EC plus EM sin 2 pi FMT multiplied by sin 2 pi FCT. This equation, when we rearrange and expand, it will get this equation. And by using trigonometry from this equation, we will get this equation, which is VAMT EC sin 2 pi FCT plus MCE over 2 cos 2 pi FC minus FMT. And this is voltage spectrum for an AM double-sided surprise carrier transmission wave. From the equation above, there are few characteristics, which is the amplitude of the carrier signal is unaffected by the modulative process. The amplitude of upper side frequency and lower side frequency depends on the both of the carrier amplitude and the coefficient of modulation. For 100% modulation, M equal to 1, and the previous section is when the amplitude of AM envelope is Vmax is equal to EC, and the minimum peak amplitude is Vmin is equal to 0. Here is some example that we can try. This equation is for when we want to find upper side band frequency and lower side band frequency, and this formula is for when we want to find modulation index. And for question C is we have to find the peak amplitude, which is this. And for question D is for Vmax and Vmin, and we will get 27.5 volt and 12.5 volt. 2.5 AM power distribution. The average power dissipated in a load by an modulated carrier is equal to the RMS carrier voltage divided by the load resistance, which is PC is equal to EC squared over 2R. And for upper and lower side power is M squared PC over 4. And for power total is PC plus M squared PC over 2. And this is power spectrum for AM double-sided carrier wave. And this side is for upper side band and this side is for lower side band.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Nuriyati Abdul Halim. So today I want to present about amplitude modulation current calculation. So as we know, modulation can be calculated by measuring the current of the carrier and the modulated wave. So the measurement is simply by measuring the transmit antenna current with and without the presence of the modulating signal. the relationship between the carrier current and the current of the modulated wave if given by this formula. So from the formula that we have looked at the first slide, and we can analyze the equation until we get IT equal to IC square root of 1 plus m n squared divided by 2. So from the equation, I can say that P is the power is equal to I square R. 2.7 Modulation by a complex information signal. In practice, the modulated signal is often a complex waveform made up for many sine waves with a difference, first amplitude and second frequencies. Consider a modulated signal have two frequencies, which is FM1 and FM2. So, the modulated wave often will contain the carrier and two set of side frequency space symmetrically about the carrier frequency. So, this is equation for the two frequency. So, for coefficient of modulation that involves several modulation frequency, which means this equation is involving more than two frequencies, so we can use MT square root of M1 plus M2 plus M3 plus dot until Mn. The combination coefficient of modulation MT can be used to determine the total sideband, and the second we can determine the total transmitted power. So this is the equation for the power. So we can say that PUSBT is the total upper sideband power, PLSBT total lower sideband power, PSBT is total sideband power, and PT is total transmitted power. Can use the equation to calculate the power. 2.8 AM transmitter, low level transmitter. This is block diagram of a low level AM dipole sideband full carrier transmitter. It starts from RF carrier oscillator, modulating signal source until signal transfer to the antenna. So, function for the each block diagram is preamplifier is to raise source signal amplitude to a usable level with minimum nonlinear distortion. For the modulated signal driver, it to amplify the information signal to suitable level to sufficiently drive the modulator. RF carrier oscillator is to generate the carrier signal. Buffer amplifier to isolate the oscillator from the high power amplifier. While for the modulator, we can use either for the emitter, collector modulation. Intermediate and final power amplifier required with low level transmitter to maintain symmetry in the AM envelope. Coupling network to match output impedance of the final amplifier to the antenna or transmission line. 2.8 also AM transmitter, but this is for the high level transmitter. So this is high level transmitter double sideband full carrier. So we can see that there are few change from high to the low. In the high level, we have power amplifier. The process of modulating signal for high level is same with low level, except for the addition of power amplifier. So the function of the power amplifier is to provide higher power modulating signal to achieve 100% modulation. Or we can say that carrier power is maximum at the high level point. High level and low level have the same circuit for carrier oscillator, buffer and drive, but with addition of power amplifier. So the function of modulator circuit in the high level transmitter, first is to provide the necessary circuit for the modulator to occur. Second, the final power amplifier, and the last one for frequency up converter. It is to translate low level information signal to radio frequency signal that can be efficiently radiated from the antenna and propagate through the free space.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurlana Hazwani binti Hazimin. I will present about AM receiver.
AM demodulation is the reverse process of AM modulation. A conventional double sideband AM receiver converts the amplitude modulate waveform back to the original source by receiving, amplifying, and demodulating the wave. The receiver also functioning to band limit the total RF spectrum to a specific desired band of frequency, which is tuning the receiver. Simplified block diagram of typical AM receiver. This is antenna, which is allow all type of signal. Then it will go down to the RF section, which is only allow only RF signal entry. Then it will go to band pass filter, which is eliminate noise. After that, it will go into the mixer or converter section. Function of a mixer is convert the received RF frequencies to intermediate frequency RF. IF are the frequencies that fall somewhere between the RF and the IF. After that, it will pass through the band pass again. Then it will go to the IF section. IF section is used for amplification and selectivity. Then it will go to band pass filter again. After that, it will go to the AM detector, which is modulate the AM wave and convert it to the original information signal. After that, it will go to band pass filter. After that, it will go to the audio section, which is used to amplify the recovered signal. Lastly, it will go to the speaker, which is produce the sound. Next, receiver parameter selectivity. Selectivity is parameter used to measure the ability of the receiver to accept or given band of frequencies and reject all others. A method to describe the selectivity of the receiver is to give the receiver a bandwidth at two levels of attenuation. The ratio of these two bandwidths is called as shape factors. This is the formula of SF. In ideal, both bandwidth is equal and the value of the shape factor will be 1, but this is impossible to be achieved in practical circuit. Bandwidth improvement. Thermal noise is one form of noise occur in communication system that is proportional to the bandwidth. As signal propagate from the antenna through the RF section, mixer or converter section and IF section, the bandwidth of signal is reduced, thus reducing the noise. Noise reduction ratio achieved by reducing the bandwidth is called bandwidth improvement. BI expressed as follows. BI is equal to BRF over BIF, where BI equals to bandwidth improvement, BRF is equal to RF bandwidth, BIF is IF bandwidth. The corresponding reduction in noise due to the reduction in bandwidth is called as noise figure improvement, and F improvement equals to 10 log 10 BI. Next, sensitivity. Sensitivity of the receiver is defined as minimum RF signal level that can be detected at the input to the receiver and still produce a usable demodulated information signal. Signal to noise ratio and the power of signal at the output of the audio section are used to determine the quality of the received signal and whether it is usable. Sensitivity of a receiver is expressed in microvolts of the received signal. Sensitivity of the receiver depends on noise power present at the input to the receiver. Receiver noise figure, sensitivity of the AM detector, and bandwidth improvement factor of the receiver. The best way to improve the sensitivity is to reduce the noise level. Next, dynamic range. Dynamic range of a receiver is defined as the difference in decibel between the minimum input level necessary to recognize a signal and the input level will overdrive the receiver and produce distortion. The minimum receive level in a function of the desired signal quality, fun until end noise, and the noise figure of the receiver, which is called X. The level that will produce overload distortion is the function of the net gain of the receiver, total gain of all stage in the receiver, called Y. A dynamic range of 100 dB between X and Y is considered about the highest possible. And last, a low dynamic range can cause several intermodulation distortion. After that, fidelity. Fidelity is defined as a measure of the ability of a communication system to produce an exact replica of the original source information at the output of the receiver. Any variation in the demodulation signal are not in the original information signal is considered as distortion. Three forms of distortion is 1. Phase distortion, 2nd. Amplitude distortion, and 3rd. Frequency distortion. Phase distortion. Filtering is the predominant cause of phase distortion. Frequency at or near the break frequency of all of a filter undergo varying the value of the phase shift. If all the frequencies are not delayed by the same amount of time, the frequency versus phase relationship of the received signal is not consistent with the original signal and the recovered signal is distorted. Amplitude distortion occur when the amplitude versus frequency characteristic of the output signal of a receiver differ from those of the original signal. It is the result of non-uniform gain in amplifier and filter. Frequency distortion occur when frequencies that are present in a received signal are not present in a in the original source information. It is a result of harmonic and intermodulation distortion and caused by non-linear amplification. Then, insertion loss. Insertion loss is a ratio of the power transfer to a load with a filter in the circuit to the power transfer to a load without a filter in the circuit. Filters are generally constructed from lossy components such as resistor and imperfect capacitor that attenuate, reduce the magnitude of the signal. This is the formula of insertion loss. ILdB equals to 10 log 10 P out over P in. Lastly, noise temperature or equivalent noise temperature. Thermal noise is directly proportional to the temperature and can be expressed in degree as well as watt and volt. This is the formula of noise temperature, E equals to N over Kb, where T is environmental temperature, N equals to noise power, K is Boltzmann constant 1.38 multiplied by 10 negative 23, and B is bandwidth.
A few minutes later.
There are two types of receiver. First, coherent receiver. That is the frequencies generated in the receiver and used for demodulation are synchronized to oscillator frequencies generated in the transmitter. Second, non-coherent receiver. That is the frequencies that are generated in the receiver or the frequency that are used for demodulation are completely independent from the transmitter carrier frequency. It is typically used for tuned radio frequency receiver or TRF and super heterodyne receiver. Disadvantage for TRF. First, bandwidth is inconsistent when tuned over a wide range. Second, instability due to large number of RF amplifier. And lastly, the gains are not uniform over a very wide frequency range. Next, this is the figure of tuned radio frequency receiver or TRF. As we can see, there are three stages, that is RF stage, detector stage, and audio stage. The RF amplifier is used to filter and amplify the receiver signal to a level sufficient to drive the detector stage. Detector converts RF signal directly to information. Audio stage is used to amplify the information signal to a usable level. This is the simple and have a relatively high sensitivity. This is the figure that shows the super heterodyne receiver block diagram. As we can see, there are 5 sections. That is RF section consists of preselector and RF amplifier. Mixer section consists of mixer and local oscillator. IF section consists of bandpass filter and IF amplifiers. And audio detector section consists of audio detector. And lastly, audio amplifier section consists of audio amplifiers.
In this session, I want to discuss about function of the block diagram for the super heterodyne. First one is RF section that is consist of preselector and amplifier. Preselector is a bandpass filter with an adjustable center frequency used to reject unwanted radio frequency and to reduce noise bandwidth. While RF amplifier used to determine the sensitivity of the receiver. The second one is converter section. Consists of radio frequency oscillator and a mixture. Mixture we use to convert radio frequency to intermediate frequency. Shape of the envelope, bandwidth, and original information contained in the envelope remain unchanged. Next, IF section. IF section is consist of IF amplifier and bandpass filter used to achieve receiver gain and selectivity. IF is always lower in frequency compared to RF because it is easier and less expensive. The second last is detector section. It used to convert IF signal back to original source information, or we can say that this is demodulation. The last one is audio amplifier section. Comprise several cascade audio amplifier and one or more speaker.
Receiver operation. Frequency conversion means stage and modulator are identical except that in the receiver. Second, frequencies are down-converted rather than up-converted. When local oscillator frequency is tuned above RF section, it is high side engagement. The formula is local oscillator frequency equal to radio frequency plus intermediate frequency. Then, when local oscillator frequency is tuned below RF section, it is low side engagement. The formula is
local oscillator frequency equal to radio frequency minus intermediate frequency. This is the illustration of the frequency conversion process using high side injection. In the mixer or converter, RF signals are combined with the local oscillator frequency. The local oscillator is designed such that its frequency of oscillation is always above or below the desired RF carrier. Therefore, the difference of RF and oscillator frequency is always equal to the IF frequency. Then, the adjustment for the center frequency of the preselector and the local oscillator frequency are gain tuned. That means the two adjustments are tied together so that single adjustment will change the center frequency of the preselector and at the same time change the local oscillator. Local oscillator tracking. Local oscillator tracking is the ability of the local oscillator in a receiver to oscillate either above or below the selected radio frequency carrier by an amount equal to the intermediate frequency throughout the entire radio frequency band.
Image frequency. Any frequency other than the selected radio frequency carrier will produce a cross-product frequency that is equal to the intermediate frequency if allowed to enter a receiver and mix with the local oscillator. The following figure shows the relative frequency spectrum for the RF, IF, local oscillation, and image frequency for a super high Trojan receiver using high side injection. The image frequency is the radio frequency that is located in the IF frequency above the local oscillator. FM equal to FLO plus GIF equals to FRF plus 2IF. Higher the IF, the farther away the image frequency is from the desired radio frequency. The higher the IF, it is more difficult to build a stable amplifier with high gain. Image frequency rejection ratio, IFRR. A numerical measure of the ability of a preselector to reject the image frequency. The higher value of IFRR, the better image rejection. This is the formula of IFRR, square root of 1 plus Q squared rho squared. Once an image frequency has down converted to IF, it cannot be removed. In order to reject the image frequency, it has to be blocked prior to the mixer stage.
2.9.5 Net receiver gain. Net receiver gain is simply the ratio of the demodulator signal level at the output of the receiver to the RF signal level at the input to the receiver. In essence, net receiver gain in the dB sum of all gains to the receiver minus the dB sum of all losses. This is the plot diagram for the typical radio receiver, and for the formula is gain dB minus by losses dB, whereas gain is RF amplifier gain plus IF amplifier gain and plus with audio amplifier gain. Meanwhile, losses are for preselector loss plus mixer loss plus detector loss. And this is some example for the net receiver gain. For question A, we have to find RMS voltage measured by RMS voltmeter, which means this is the RMS voltage, and this is for the peak voltage, and this is for the peak to peak voltage. 2.9.4 Double conversion receivers. For good image rejection, relatively high image frequency is desired. For high gain selective amplifiers that are stable, a low image frequency is necessary. The solution for above constraint is to use two intermediate frequency by using double conversion AM receiver. This is the block diagram of double conversion AM receiver. The first image frequency is relatively high frequency for good image rejection, and the second is a relatively low frequency for good selectively and easy amplification.